Hello folks, welcome to another video here in the Microsoft Sim, the freshly updated Microsoft Sim, updated with World Update number 8, which brings the Sim version, I believe, to version 1.24.5.0. That's a lot of points. I don't often have a lot of points in my video, or even a point in most of them, do I? Anyway, folks, this will be the first flight after World Update number 8. World Update 8 taking into account the region known as Iberia, so Spain, Portugal, et al. Now, by the view on your screen, you can probably guess where we are. That bit of stone in the back, the background of the shot is kind of well known, isn't it? The Rock of Gibraltar, folks. Yes, we begin today's journey in Gibraltar, which has received a bit of a touch-up as a result of World Update number 8. And we are going to be flying, well, we're going to end up over in Faro, which is over in Portugal, via Seville, I think. I'll fire up little nav map and just confirm that for myself, let alone for you viewers, but that's I think that's the plan. The aircraft that we're going to be flying is the Got Friends Optica. Great sightseeing aircraft, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I absolutely love having the creatures on board with me. So that's the plan for today, folks. Look, it'll probably take us a little while. Oh, that's a bit close. Look how buff this bloke is. How are you, champ? Oi, talking to you. It'll take us a little while. This aircraft doesn't get along that quickly. It'll be heavily edited, as always, as most of my videos are. Beautiful weather here in Gibraltar today, only because I've used a weather preset. The actual weather, the live weather here, is not good. Not suitable for making a sightseeing video anyway. So, the magic of simulation, we can change the weather. So, folks, let me fire up a little nav map. Just confirm our flight plan, and then we'll go flying. So here is a little nav map, and yeah, look, basically the flight plan that I mentioned, but I got the destination wrong. It's not Paro, it's Faro. Don't fly in this part of the world very often, folks. Gibraltar is our starting point, and then we're going to head sort of in a northwesterly direction, maybe do a touch and go at Seville, and then take a lefty, head east towards Faro. So that's where we are. The this update sort of takes improves sort of this part of the world, and yeah, that's it. There's other videos that will go into a lot more detail about exactly what points of interest have been added. I understand there's a whole bunch of airports that have been added that were missing previously, and a number of airports in the region have been upgraded, and I think 3 or 4 of them have received a sort of custom treatment, the custom Asobo treatment. I don't know whether any of the airports we're flying into today have received that. I don't know. Anyway, folks, that's the plan. Gibraltar to Faro with an F. Let's go flying. Alright, so engine start has been achieved. That coming off. Got local barrow, yeah, all good. We'll worry about the autopilot when we get airborne. Which way are we going to get out of here? Can we go left? We can go right? We can go both. Let's go right. Get rid of that handbrake. Get a little bit of movement happening. Here we go. Nice bit of rudder. Don't want to let it get away from us. Alright. So we sort of want to be heading to the northwest. There's the rock. We'll taxi down here. I'll take an easterly departure. There's the rock. I promise not to draw attention to the rock too many more times, folks. Runway 9 here at Gibraltar will be our departure runway. I'll need to get some controller stuff sorted out here, as usual. very little preparation has been done. We don't want to have stopped. You can get a bloody good look at the texturing on the ground here from this aircraft, can't you? Here we go. Don't stop. We'll get some landing lights coming on. The taxis can come off, strobies can come on, and we will go on altitude on the transponder. Here we go, we'll reset. Here we go. Runway 9er. Gibraltar. We'll make it a rolling start and towards the east. There will be a right turn after departure. Well, it's a pretty short bloody strip, this direction, from an intersection. Here we go. I'm through 40. A little bit of boot. Through 60, we can kind of rotate about there. Away we go. Robert is your father's brother, as they say. Now, I said a right turn after departure. I'm going to make a right turn. Flaps can come up as we do so. But this is actually going to take us away from where we want to be going. But that's all right, because I'm going to climb around the rock, which is over in sort of this direction. Take the opportunity. I don't get to Gibraltar. In fact, I don't think... I can't remember ever being in Gibraltar in any sim. So I'm going to take the opportunity to have a bit of a gander while I'm here. There's a view there for you. And once we complete our little sightseeing sideline here, we'll take up our track towards Seville. Not expecting any significant sort of changes around performance or anything after a world update. I have also in the last day or so updated the driver, the graphics driver, to whatever the latest one is. Not expecting anything significant from that either. I haven't noticed any change. I did a flight yesterday, and the sim is behaving as it typically does, which for me is pretty good most of the time. You just see that sort of popping in of the rock, but look, the definition is pretty good. As I've mentioned in a previous video, the little Freeware Friday episode that I released just a few hours ago, I don't run with photogrammetry on. It'll be off, so it's probably not providing the absolute best view of this part of the world this morning, but that's how it is. That's pretty good. That's pretty bloody good to me. I'm happy with what I'm seeing out the window. The port of Gibraltar. There you go. All right. Then we probably need to think about taking up our track over those hills in the distance. And so that's what I'm going to do, folks. So we've got quite a long leg up to Seville. I'll probably join you again in the cruise en route, and then I think we'll do a touch and go in Seville before heading for Faro. But anyway, I'll see you in about probably 10 minutes from now, folks, in the cruise. All right, so settled into the cruise. We're just sort of riding the thermal waves here. It looks like a national park, I'm guessing, of some description. We've left Gibraltar back down there. I'm not familiar with this part of the world, folks. If you are from this part of the world and wish to chime in and correct anything that I've said or will say in this video, you're more than welcome to. I do appreciate the feedback. But one of the great things about simulation and about world updates like this is that they give you some incentive to discover unfamiliar locales. And while I've spent some time in Spain and flying in Portugal over the years, mainly in X-plane, it is nothing compared to the visuals here in this sim. So thank you to the developers for for throwing your attention towards this part of the world. I don't know what's next for the world updates. I tell you what I do know. These world updates are chewing up some space on the old hard drive, aren't they? You need a pretty hefty number of gigs, if not terabytes, for this bloody sim. The way it's growing. I'm pretty frugal with what I add into the sim, but I've got all the world updates. Not that you have to, I suppose, but yeah, they keep adding more and more of that, or taking up more and more space on the hard drive. So what else is happening in the world of simulation, folks? Well, here in the Microsoft Sim, apart from World Update, of course, there is an aircraft. Well, there's a number of aircraft in the pipeline, right? But there's one, I think, which is going to be released perhaps before this flight is done. And that's a fly sim where Cessna 414A Chancellor, I think I've got that right. That Cessna sort of commuter twin class. I really like it. Steam gauges, but also with the option for the little bit of glass, like the GTN. I think it's a dual GTN setup, which it looks pretty bloody good. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan of that sort of class of aeroplane, so I may splurge. They're going to release it as a beta, recognised release as a beta, so you know, you pays your monies, you takes your chances, folks. But I may just splurge on it. It's an aircraft, like I said, a class that I'm interested in flying, and we'll see how we go. Anyway, that may feature in a upcoming video. We have about 65 miles to run to Seville. We are cruising at 4,500, doing around about 100 and I'm going to call that 117 knots indicated. Ground speed of 125. So it's going to take us a little while to get to Seville. But while I look out the window and enjoy the scenery, I'll probably pause the capture here, because there's a fair bit of this ahead, and rejoin you for the approach into Seville. Alright, so 15 miles to run. We can start thinking about a descent, I think, as one of my real life critters decides that he's going to... We don't need altitude, so where's our... That's really hard to read now. Vertical speed, please, coming down. Thanks, Georgie. One of my real life critters decided he needs to get in on some of this Spanish action. Don't we all, folks? Hey, don't we all? You know what I mean? There's been lots of this. Really well represented scenery. That's what I mean to say. And this is such a great aircraft to do some sightseeing in. I've probably mentioned that before. It really is very, very cool. So 13 miles to run into Seville. We'll give Georgie a break soon, and we'll do some hand flying. Looks like we had a westerly breeze. That's westerly, light westerly, and looks like we've got a runway orientation in Seville that would favour an approach, to the west. So we're happy with that. The city of Seville coming into view. Yeah, no noticeable performance issues whatsoever. The sim has run beautifully, and very pleasurable first leg of this little adventure here in Spain, and then we're going to cross over into Portugal for our arrival into Faro. I can assure you that the animals have remained calm and chilled the entire time. You know what would be great if the developers listening, and I know that a couple of the developers, or at least one of the Got Friends team, actually did comment on a previous video of mine. So if you are watching, mate, you know what would be cool is if there was some randomness built into the animations, you know, so that occasionally the cat here would just kind of wake up and give you a dirty look or something like that. or you know, the dog would sort of turn around and bark or something like that. It may be a little bit difficult to achieve, but these are the things that come to mind, folks, as I fly pretend aeroplanes and make nonsense videos. Anyway, we'll zoom that in. We might actually give Georgie a break. Take the autopilot off. Oh, we get a bit of a pitch up there. Maybe our trim was a bit out of whack. We'll come off the juice and continue. 9 miles to run. We're about 3.5. That's fine in terms of profile. The airport's kind of at our 12 o'clock. We'll get a landing light on in anticipation. Having to retrim a bit here. Landing light can come on and take a couple of views. Beautiful. I mentioned earlier that I updated my graphics driver, and what they did was wipe my little bloody what's it called? The preset thing. This thing is what I mean to talk about. The game filter. So it's wiped them all, and I've tried to put them back, but I can't remember what they were. I guess I could go back to an old video, but I actually kept mucking around with them. I sort of went through. There was a video I did. I think it was the DC3, the Freeware Friday one, where I sort of talked about the game filters. But let me get rid of that now. No, I can't get rid of it. All right. X, gone. Yeah, I just can't remember what I had them, but it's wiped them, and I can't be bothered. So I'm just running with the default filter, I suppose, which is no filter. Have a look how well that's represented, hey? The greens, the ochres, the blacks of the roads, the greys, the blue of the water, white of the clouds. It's pretty good. Now, Seville Airport, 5 miles to run. There's a few airports in this part of the world. I've got to make sure I land at the correct one, right? It looks like there's one here. Here. Is that the one I want? Is it 4 miles? That look like it's about 4 miles. I reckon that's the one I want. And what we might do is fly a left base onto a runway that sort of heads in the westerly direction. Although there's a few runways to choose from by the looks of it. That's okay. We'll get ourselves slowed down here. Mixture can come back into full rich. There you go. We'll try and fly a tight left base. Touch and go. And then we've kind of got to head towards, maybe even straight out after departure, and then make our track towards Faro, I think. Anyway, getting ahead of ourselves, old mate. There's the town of Seville. That's nice, isn't it? That's the non-photogrammetry version of it. I'm pretty impressed by that. We're going to be high and we're going to be quick if we don't do something about it. I said a tight left base. This is taking the piss a bit though. Give ourselves a chance. I'm right off that juice now. Nice long strip, and then we've got a cross strip by the looks of it, I think. Right, we're in a bit of trouble here, speed wise and height wise. Come right off that juice. How well does this thing slip? We're about to find out. Runway 27 by the looks of it. That's perfect. She's a bit brown, a bit dry. Unlike the Spanish women that I've known in my life. And I don't mean that in a crude way. I mean that they've all had character. Is what I mean. Gonna take some flap here. Down we come. Yeah, we're definitely high, but that's okay. Right off the power now. We go full flap, we're gonna slow down. We're gonna get down. Re-trimming. Oh, that's quite an interesting perspective. 60 knots. Have to get this round out. Right. Alright, how we go in this round out? Here we go. Nice and gentle on the touchdown. Whoa, can we get it down? Is it going to get down? Oh, we're on. Are we on? We are now. Get the flaps coming up. Bit of full juice. We just sort of wallowed there. I think we were on a lot earlier than what I realised, and I just kept that nose up. Alright, we can get airborne about here. Away we go. Alright, get the flaps up nice and early. So I think we'll continue to sort of head in a westerly direction for a bit. I'm going to have to reset the old GPS here to take us direct to Faro. We've lost that. We've lost our flight plan. I'll do that, folks. That was a touch and go of sorts here in Seville. I'll see you en route to Faro, Portugal. All right, we're well into the cruise on this second leg, folks, down towards Faro. We're just about to cross the coast ahead, and look, I'm absolutely loving what I'm seeing out the window. It's I don't know. I'd say it's a beautiful part of the world. It's a different part of the world, for me at least. I'm sure to locals and those people that have been here in real life, I'm sure there is beauty, but it's yeah, that's the word is different, is what comes to mind for me, based on the places that I normally fly, and different, and I can't help, and I know this probably isn't fair, and I may labour the point, I can't help but compare what this looks like to what I remember from X-Plane, and it's just such a transformation. Such a pleasurable transformation. Anyway, let's jump back inside. How far we got? We're about 50 miles, so we're about halfway between Seville and Faro, and the little Optica continues to perform admirably. It's a big word to say. I almost got through it without stumbling. In a little bit of white stuff here. What's that? What's that about, Georgie? 4.5 was supposed to keep us out of that. Anyway, through the other side, and then the coastline up here. How gorgeous is that? That's very nice. I wish I knew what this bit of coastline was called. It's probably Costa de la something. Apologies to to anyone who hails from this part of the world. If you want to tell me what this part of the world is known as, feel free. As I said earlier, I do appreciate feedback, particularly where it corrects my mistakes. You get plenty of opportunities in my videos, folks. We will continue on towards Faro. I'll join you again for the approach into our destination. All right, the concluding stages, folks. Aeroporto do Faro is down there. Hey, do you like my Portuguese? Pretty impressive, isn't it? I can actually speak a little bit of Portuguese. Not that you'd know. By my poor pronunciations in these videos. Anyway. 3 miles to run. Runway 28. Here at Faro. Love it. Love what I'm seeing. Here we go. We've got our speed under control. We're down to 80 knots, 1,000 feet. Happy with that at this point. 3 miles to go. And we'll give ourselves like a a 2 mile final or something like that onto 2.8. That breeze is held up, mostly because it's a weather preset and it doesn't change. That's a little trick, a little tip for you young players. Want to take some of the variability out of the sim? Well, you just use a weather preset. It's not particularly realistic, but it gets the job done. And that really could be a tagline for my channel. Low on the realism, but shit gets done. Hey, that's how it goes. So there we go, 2 mile final, folks. Into Lima Papa Foxtrot Romeo. Is that correct? I just lost it on the GPS. Bloody hell. I think that's what it was. Here we go. Nice stable approach in over the water. How nice is this? How good's that? Yeah, the boats are baked in, but anyway, forgive that. Again, light on the realism, but it gets the job done. Yeah, we'll go full flapping a bit. Down through 80 now, down through 75. Oh, this is one of the most stable approaches I've flown in recent times. I'm sure I'll screw it up with an absolute disaster of a touchdown. I'll jinx myself. And full flap now, down through 60 knots. Quite a different perspective from that landing in Seville. I feel quite low here, but we're probably not too bad in terms of profile. Just got to keep the power on a little bit. Runway 28, Faro, folks. Here we go. Nice low flare. And touchdown. There we go, folks. Flaps coming up as we roll out and get off at the first available taxiway here on the right hand side. So that's been a first flight after World Update number 8, the region known as Iberia. Probably ends up being a longer video than I had intended, but look, I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed what I've seen out the window. Performance-wise, no worries at all. This is a great aircraft for a sightseeing mission, and yeah, overall, an enjoyable flight for the old fella. Thank you, as always, for your company, folks, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.